The sky was on fire. Mark's ship spun out of control, smoke and sparks filling the small cockpit. Warning alarms screamed in his ears. He tried to stabilize the controls, but it was no use. The engines were dead. His mission was simple: scan the abandoned planet, collect data, and return to Earth. A routine task. At least that's what they told him. Now he was falling. The planet below was gray, broken, and silent. No signs of life. No signals. Just endless ruins and dead stone. But something about it felt wrong. Like the silence was hiding something. The ship crashed hard. Metal twisted. Glass shattered. Then, darkness. When Mark opened his eyes, the world was quiet. Smoke rose from the wreckage around him. His arm hurt, and his head throbbed, but he was alive. Barely. He tried to sit up, but something stopped him. Something warm. A hand. He looked down and saw her. A girl. Alien but not terrifying. Thin, pale, with glowing marks on her skin like faded stars. Her clothes were torn and dusty. Her hair was tangled, and her eyes, they were full of fear. Not for herself, for him. She was holding his hand tightly, though her own was shaking. He tried to speak, but she put a finger to his lips. "Don't move," she whispered. Her voice was soft, but urgent. "They'll hear you." "Who?" Mark managed to say. She didn't answer. Instead, she looked around, listening. Then she leaned closer. "Don't touch me, human. I'm too dirty," she whispered. But she never let go of his hand. She dragged him from the wreckage, step by step. He was half-conscious, but he could feel her grip, strong, careful. She didn't speak again until they reached a broken tunnel entrance, half covered in vines and rock. They slipped inside. The air was cold. The tunnel was dark, but safer, at least for now. She laid him down gently on an old stone floor, then sat nearby, watching the entrance. Mark coughed, trying to sit up again. "Why are you helping me?" The girl didn't look at him. Her voice was distant. "Because you fell from the sky, just like the last one." "The last one?" She nodded, slowly. "He promised to save us." "He didn't." Mark tried to remember what the mission logs had said. This planet had once been home to a powerful civilization, now extinct. Killed in a war. But no one knew what really happened. "You're not extinct," he said softly. "I'm not alive either," she replied. He looked at her more closely. Her face was tired, but not old. Her arms were scratched and bruised. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. But there was something more, something behind her eyes. Pain. Loneliness. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Nira." "I'm Mark." "I know." That surprised him. "How?" She finally turned to face him. Her eyes were glowing faintly in the dark. "Not with light, with memory." "You have his eyes," she said. "The one who left us behind." Mark didn't understand, but he didn't argue. He didn't feel like a hero. He wasn't sent here to save anyone. Just to observe. Just to report. Now he was here, broken and bleeding, held together by the hands of a girl who should have left him behind. Outside the tunnel, something moved. A deep clicking sound, like metal crawling over stone. Mark tensed. Nira stood quickly, her body pressed to the wall, listening. "They're near," she whispered. "We have to go deeper." "What are they?" "Hunters. Machines. They don't see. They feel. They scan for heat. For fear." She reached down and pulled him up. Her hand found his again, and this time, she didn't say anything about being dirty. Mark tried to walk, leaning on her shoulder. She was small but strong. Every step echoed through the tunnel. Every sound made his heart race. "How long have you been alone?" he asked. "Since the day the sky fell." "And you're not afraid of me?" "I am," she said. "But not as much as I'm afraid of being alone again." They moved deeper into the tunnels, past ruins, past broken statues and old symbols. Mark realized this wasn't just shelter. It was a graveyard, a city lost beneath the surface. "How many of you are left?" he asked. "Just me," she replied. "And now you." He didn't know what to say, but her hand was still holding his. And for now, that was enough. Darkness pressed around him like thick fog. The air was cold, damp, and alive with whispers. Mark opened his eyes slowly. Stone walls. Faint blue veins pulsing in the rock. He wasn't in the wreck anymore. Someone had dragged him. Somewhere. His hand throbbed. He looked down. Her hand was still there. Thin. Dirt-covered. Fingers trembling. She was already awake. Sitting across from him, back turned, humming something low and broken. Not quite a song. Not quite sane. He sat up, careful not to startle her. "You saved me," he said quietly. She didn't look back. "I told you not to follow me," she said. Her voice was soft. Hollow. "I didn't," Mark said. "You brought me here. I shouldn't have." A pause. Then the humming stopped. "They can smell you now," she whispered. "Who?" "They live above. In the light. Machines with no skin, no hearts, no fear. They smell hope and crush it." Mark stood, uneasy. "Why are you helping me?" She turned her face halfway, just enough for him to see the long scar under her eye. "I don't know," she said. "Maybe because you still hold my hand, even after I told you I'm dirty." Mark looked down again. Her hand hadn't moved. "I don't care," he said. "You should." She finally stood, tall, thin, wrapped in old fabrics that looked like flags torn from some forgotten war. "This way," she said, "before they hear us." They walked through broken tunnels, past murals half-scorched by fire. Ancient walls showed humans and her kind standing side by side, smiling. Then war. Blood. Fire. Betrayal. "What is this place?" Mark asked. "The city of the first lie," she said. He stopped. "My people did this?" She didn't answer, just walked ahead. Mark followed in silence, his footsteps echoing behind hers. Somewhere above, a sharp metallic shriek pierced the air, like a radar sweeping too low. She didn't look back when she said, "They think all humans are killers. Prove them wrong. Or don't. Either way, you're already marked." And still, she never let go of his hand. Dust hung in the air like memory. Thick, heavy, impossible to shake. Mark coughed as he stepped into the forgotten hall, the floor creaking under his boots. Nira walked ahead, silent, like a shadow that had forgotten how to speak. He shined his light on the wall. Rows of strange symbols, cracked and burned. "Is this writing?" he asked. She nodded once. "Old language. Before the war. Before the silence." In the center of the room stood a tall, broken pillar, wires spilling out like veins, wrapping around a half-crushed console. "It used to speak," Nira said. "Now it only remembers." Mark knelt beside the console, brushing away layers of ash. "What is this place?" "An archive," she said. "A memory chamber. Your kind left behind words. We left behind wounds." He hesitated, then pressed a blinking panel. Static. Then a flicker of light. A projection burst from the ceiling in jagged, flickering beams. Images appeared, broken but still screaming with truth. A human commander, smiling, shaking hands with Nira's kind. Promises, treaties, peace. Then gunfire, screams, explosions. The alliance shattered in seconds. Mark stared, frozen. This can't be real. Nira didn't answer. She just watched. As not angry, just tired. "I was there," she said softly. "I was 6 when the sky burned. We thought your people came to help. But help has a different shape when it carries guns." "I didn't know," Mark whispered. "They didn't tell me this. We were told. They said the planet rebelled. That your kind attacked us." A bitter smile touched her lips. "They told us the same thing. That humans turned on us first. That peace was never real. And we believed it. Because we were afraid to believe the truth. That no one ever meant to share this world." Mark stared at the images. The commander in the video looked exactly like him. Same face. Same eyes. He backed away, dizzy. "What is this?" Nira stepped closer, voice low. "I saved you because of him. I thought maybe he sent you. Maybe this time, The human who made a promise came back to keep it. Mark's voice cracked. I'm not him. I know, she said. But you look like a second chance. Suddenly a sound. A pulse. A light blinked on the broken console. Green. Then red. Mark turned to it. That's Earth code. The message was short. Brutal. Target alive. Extract core. Eliminate native. Nira's breath caught. She looked at him not with hate, but with heartbreak. You were sent here to kill me. Mark shook his head. No, I didn't know. But the red light kept blinking. And somewhere far above them, something began to move. Heavy. Mechanical. Coming closer. Nira didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just let go of his hand. And for the first time since they met, she stepped back. You should run now, she said. They always do. The silence was loud. Not peaceful, threatening. Like the calm a planet holds before it decides to bury you. Mark stood where Nira had left him, her footprints already fading in the dust. The message still blinked on the console behind him. Target alive. Extract core. Eliminate native. He didn't move. Not even when the low hum began. A sound that wasn't part of this dead city. A sound too clean. Too perfect. A machine sound. He turned. Far down the tunnel, a red light blinked once. Then again. Closer. Then a second light. The third. They were coming. The Watchers. He ran. Not because he was afraid to die, but because he didn't want her to think he was just another one of them. The air grew colder as he dropped into a lower tunnel, his hand dragging along the wall for balance. He wasn't sure where his feet were going, only where his heart was pulling him. He found her, sitting in the shadows, facing away, as if she had expected him not to come back. I didn't tell them, Mark said breathlessly. I swear, Nira. She didn't move. It doesn't matter. They always find a way. Signals bounce. Machines listen. I destroyed the transmitter, he said. I'm not here to finish a mission. I'm here to understand why it started. She turned. Her eyes weren't angry this time, just afraid. They're here already, she whispered. The core. They've tracked it. Mark frowned. The core. Nira nodded slowly. This city, it was built on a living power. The core feeds memory, light, time itself. My people didn't make it. We were just trusted with it. Trusted by who? I don't know, she said. But when the humans learned it existed, everything changed. Mark stepped forward. That's why they sent me, isn't it? Not to rescue, to extract. Nira said nothing. But behind her, deep within the rock wall, something pulsed. A steady thrum, like a heartbeat made of light. He reached toward it. Don't, she said sharply. If the core leaves this planet, it dies. Everything does. Even me. Mark froze. But if I don't take it, they'll keep coming. A mechanical howl ripped through the tunnels. Closer now. She looked at him, her voice breaking for the first time. You asked why I saved you. It wasn't because you were different. It was because I hoped you could become different. The ground shook. He stepped in front of her. They're not taking it. And they're not taking you. Far above, stone cracked. And the red lights began to fall. Time didn't move here. It breathed. Slow. Heavy. Watching. Mark felt it the moment they crossed the threshold. The cold wasn't just air anymore. It was memory. Weight pressing on his bones. Whispers brushing his thoughts. Nira didn't speak. She only placed her hand on the stone door and let it read her. The wall sighed and opened. Behind it, the core. Not a machine. Not a weapon. Presence. Suspended above the ground. Glowing like a frozen sun. Not hot, not cold, just aware. Veins of silver light ran from it through the chamber walls like roots feeding the entire planet. Mark stepped forward. Breath caught in his chest. It's alive, he said. Nira nodded slowly. It always was. He circled it slowly, eyes wide. The core shimmered. Not solid, not liquid. Constantly changing shape, like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Or maybe it was trying to reflect him. We were never meant to take this, Mark said. Were we? No one is meant to own it. Nira replied. Only protect it. Listen to it. But Earth thinks it's a power source. She looked at him not with anger, with pity, because they forgot what power really means. He stared into the core and for a moment he saw something. Flashes. His ship burning through the sky. The face of the commander he resembled. Nira's childhood, running, hiding, losing. And then, a choice. Path not yet walked. He stepped back, shaken. It showed me. It does that, Nira said softly. It shows what's inside you. The parts even you try to hide. Mark looked at her. Then why hasn't it shown you? She smiled. The saddest smile he'd seen on any face. It did. That's why I never left. A beat passed. Then the core pulsed once. Strong. Warning. The chamber lights flickered. They've breached the outer wall, she whispered. We have maybe 3 minutes. Mark stepped forward, jaw tight. Can we destroy it? Her eyes widened. No. If we do, the planet dies. We die. Everything connected to it, gone. This core doesn't power machines. It remembers life. Another pulse. Louder. Angrier. They're close, she said. Mark looked at the core again. Then at her. So we protect it. She hesitated. Then gave a tiny nod. But if they reach us, they'll try to make you choose. Me or the core. Humanity or this world. Mark tightened his grip on his pack. Then we don't let them ask. And behind them, the core began to glow brighter. Not out of fear, but readiness. The stars began with silence. At first, the peaceful Mark kind. Thought it was his mind the warm, playing tricks, early morning fragments kind. Of light breaking through the ceiling heavy, far above the core chamber. Like the world was holding its breath. Then the stone shook. Sarah noticed and the walls groaned like they were afraid. The wind they weren't stopped moving. They were drop Even the pods. Fire beside her had burned down to soft glowing coal. He and Nira stood at the edge of a broken platform, who was staring up through a long shaft that opened to the sky. Not angry, he said quietly, just a sleek black silhouette hovered above. She asked. He didn't answer. Nira didn't look. The sound came. She just closed her eyes. Then end your way home. Lo, I never asked for this. Military. No, she stood slowly, but they always come back pain in her leg. From beyond the tree line, a voice buzzed in Mark's ear. 3 human transports, artificial. 6 soldiers familiar. In full gear. Mark 2 drones hovering. You've completed like the objective. And at the target confirmed. The tall woman extraction in a black window. 3 minutes. She wore no helmet. You are not her face was sharp. To bring biological material on Leo board. Side. Repeat. Colonel Reeve. Leave Captain the native. Walker. He took a shaky breath. She stopped a few feet away. They know I found the core. Her eyes flicked to Sarah. They knew the moment it woke up. The rumors were true. It's a beacon. Didn't know there were rumors. Just like hope, Leo muttered. Mark stared. You didn't report the Valari girl. A ladder extended down. That's the desertion was wide open. You know that. All he had to do was walk away. Her, but when he looked back at her, standing in the blue glow of the core, Reeve stepped closer. He saw the tremble. She's an alien soldier, not from fear. She's a child, from relief. She's a witness. Part of her already knew. Sarah stood straighter. This was the moment I didn't come to spy. Apart. I didn't even mean to survive. I can't take you with me. Reeve looked at her coldly. No, your kind doesn't need to mean it. Your survival would tear me apart in a lab before I ever spoke a word. You could save my life. I've been hiding my whole life. Reeve raised an eyebrow. Another tremor shook the ground. When her people came back, far above, mechanical legs touched down. She could have turned me in, spider-like. Let them kill me. The watchers had arrived with the humans. Reeve turned her eyes to Sarah. Turned back to the ship. The light on the ladder blinked. Because he didn't kill me. Then his when he had every reason to. 2 minutes. The soldiers behind Reeve whispered among themselves. Comply or be listed. She raised a hand as compromised, silencing them. He ripped the device from his ear and crushed it under his boot. Not a kindness contest. You should go. Leo clenched his fists, but he didn't move. Then maybe that's the problem. He just looked at her. For a second, really looked. No one moved. That had seen too much. Then Reeve pointed to Hands Sarah. That had never She's stopped coming shaking. With us. A voice Leo stepped in front of her. You still think you're dirty? She's not, he said quietly. You're protecting her? You're not. Reeve asked. He stepped toward her. Over your duty? She stepped back. I'm protecting the only thing I've seen in this war that gives me hope. Everything. Reeve held out his hand anyway. Arrest him. Maybe. 2 soldiers. Or maybe I'll finally find something Sarah worth didn't hesitate for. She stepped between them. Then slowly she held up her hand reached his. If he goes, for the first time, not out loudly. Not out of instinct. Reeve frowned. A choice. What? Behind them, the core began to pulse, Sarah said. Above them, you think I'm dangerous. The ship rose without a sound. I'm a threat, and Mark didn't look back. Take me. But you take me instead. Let him go. Leo's voice broke slightly. Sarah. No, she said, not looking at him. You gave me a choice. You saved me. You listened. No one else ever did. Reeve laughed once. You think we negotiate with aliens? No, Sarah said. But maybe you listen to your own. She turned to the soldiers. You follow orders, right? Even if they're wrong. The youngest soldier hesitated. Reeve stepped forward. Enough. She drew her sidearm. You both want to die for this lie? Sarah looked down the barrel of the gun, heart pounding. She didn't move. I'm not afraid of you, she said. Not anymore. The gun trembled slightly. Leo stood beside her now. No weapon, no shield, just presence. You'll have to shoot us both, he said. Reeve's hand twitched. Then, one of the soldiers lowered his weapon. Then another. Then another. You said we fight monsters, the young soldier said softly. But she's not a monster. You are. Reeve's eyes went wide. You. But by then, her command had vanished. She was alone. She lowered her gun slowly. This isn't over, she hissed. No, Leo said. But it's changing. Reeve walked away without another word. Her boots crushed the fallen leaves like broken promises. Silence returned. Sarah collapsed to her knees, shaking. Leo caught her. You didn't have to do that, he said. I did, she whispered, because for once, I chose what I became. And for the first time, she wasn't caught between two worlds. She was building a new one. There is a moment, just before history changes, when time feels like it's holding its breath. Mark stood beside Nira at the heart of a world that wasn't supposed to exist anymore. The core floated silently behind them, glowing brighter with every heartbeat, as if it knew what was coming. Above, the stone ceiling split open. Not from erosion, not from age, from them. Steel limbs stabbed through the rock. Massive, intentional. Watchers, 4 of them descending like spiders from the sky. Their eyes glowed red, scanning the chamber, locking onto targets. Onto her. Nira didn't flinch. Neither did Mark. The voice returned, this time booming through loudspeakers from a descending drone. Stand down. Step away from the native. We will retrieve the core. You will not be harmed. Mark smiled. Not kindly. Too late. He stepped in front of Nira and opened his arms like a man about to be crucified. You are not authorized to interfere. Final warning. She's not the threat, Mark said aloud. You are. A pause. Then the watchers moved. Quick, mechanical, efficient, until the core screamed. Not a sound, but a wave. A pulse of light so bright it turned shadow to glass. The watchers froze mid-strike. Circuits sparked. Metal groaned. Nira fell to her knees. It's waking up. Mark reached for her, grounding her. The core pulsed again, louder, brighter. The murals on the chamber walls lit up, fully restored for the first time in centuries. A story carved in living light. 2 species. 1 betrayal. 1 chance left. Mark understood now. The core wasn't just a power source. It was a judge. And it was waiting for a choice. He turned to Nira, breathing hard. We can't destroy them. But we can show them who we are. How? She asked, eyes wide. We connect. Mark stepped into the beam of the core. Pain sliced through his mind. Images, memories, all being drawn out like threads. His past. His guilt. His choices. Nira joined him, trembling. Her pain flowed too. Loneliness, loss, hope buried too deep to speak. Together, they let the core see everything. And the core responded. It exploded not outward, but inward. A wave of memory, truth, and judgment surged through the planet like blood returning to a heart. Above, the watchers froze, then crumbled. Not in fire, but in peace. They were unmade. When the light faded, the sky was clear. No ships, no machines, just wind. Mark lay on the ground, breathing like he'd been underwater for hours. Beside him, Nira was quiet, alive. The core hovered silently, dimmer now, as if it had done what it came to do. He looked at her and she looked at him. Why didn't it kill us too? He asked. She touched his face gently, not afraid anymore. Because we didn't come to take. We came to choose. Mark nodded, slowly. So what now? Nira looked toward the tunnels. Now we build. Not for Earth. Not for me. Not even for you. She pointed to the core, softly humming. For everything that remembers what we could have been. Mark smiled, tired but real. I think I'm ready. She reached for his hand. This time there was no whisper, no shame, only warmth. And far above, the stars watched a new story begin.